And welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My topic this evening is the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of Connecticut. And with me to discuss this evening's topic are Rob and Mary Kate from Crohn's and Colitis of Connecticut. Guys, welcome. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. So Rob, tell us, we're going to do a little bit of who is Rob and what does he do for CCF?
So this is my first year actually on the CCFA committee.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with Crohn's back in 2011.
All right.
I had a terrible spell of stomach problems and didn't really know what was wrong. Ended up going to my doctor who said, "You're all right, you can go back home," and knew that it was more serious than that, so had to contact a gastroenterologist.
Yep.
And from there, I was sent to the hospital. It was so bad. I'm not a big guy to begin with, but I was actually under 100 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was sick, I was in rough shape. Couldn't really do much of anything. And I got put on Remicade in 2011 when I was at Yale, and they were fantastic. Excellent. And since then, I haven't had any issues. I've been one of the luckier ones. When I get the IV, there's people in the room all the time that are constantly in pain or in much worse shape than I am. So I'm fortunate, but I joined this to try to find a cure and support the money to fund a cure.
Okay.
Because I do see a lot of people who need it pretty badly.
How you feeling though? Pretty.
I'm great.
I'm doing
yeah,
good.
It's like I have nothing. I mean, I watch what I eat. I watch my diet.
Right.
No chocolate for me, which a lot of people can't believe.
I know.
Stay away from berries and seeds, but outside of that, I live a totally normal life.
Can the disease be triggered by berries and seeds and
it could
all that
be
other good stuff?
Yeah, it could be triggered by your diet.
Okay.
And when I was actually in the hospital, they gave me a list of foods that a lot of people who have Crohn's can't eat.
Okay.
And I kind of just looked at that list, and chocolate was on there, corn, berries, and I've been eating it my whole life.
Right.
And just figured I have been in a terrible condition, terrible shape, and so I'm just not going to eat what's on this list. And that's kind of how I structured my diet since then. So.
Very good. All right. And you there, madam, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Hey, no problem. So for those of my viewers and listeners that don't know who you are, go ahead and introduce thyself.
Sure thing. I'm Mary Kate Doherty. I am the Take Steps Walk Manager for the Connecticut chapter of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America.
Okay. And how long have you been with Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America?
About 2.5 years.
Like it?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, get to work with tremendous volunteers. So yeah, it's very, very rewarding.
So let's talk about Crohn's and Colitis and exactly what it is, and maybe get into some details.
Yeah, so both Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are autoimmune diseases,
right?
Which means they are, it's your body attacking itself. They are chronic, lifelong diseases. So patients will live with them for the duration of their lives.
Right.
Just to clarify, what Rob was mentioning about the diet.
Yes, go ahead.
They are not caused by your diet, but foods do cause symptoms to flare.
They do.
So thus, a lot of our patients do avoid certain foods, just like Rob mentioned.
Okay.
But basically, they are both under the umbrella of inflammatory bowel diseases.
Okay.
So Crohn's disease can affect anywhere from your mouth to your anus and can affect the full thickness of your colon. Ulcerative colitis only affects the colon and only the outermost layer. So technically a little less severe than Crohn's disease.
Okay. And what are some of the ways to prevention of said disease?
So we actually don't know the causes of these diseases yet. So unfortunately, we don't yet know how to prevent them. So at this point, it's really about managing symptoms and getting patients into remission so that they are living a normal life, thankfully, just as Rob is.
Right.
But as he stated, there are a lot of patients who have more severe diseases, more severe disease state, I should say.
Right.
Whose symptoms never go into remission or don't go into remission for very long.
Right.
So it's kind of a daily battle and day-to-day upheaval that our patients contend with. Symptoms, of course, include your typical GI symptoms in terms of diarrhea, constipation, but there are much more severe things that go along with that.
Right.
The inflammation can cause fissures, fistulas. Many of our patients require surgery at some point during their life.
Okay.
There are also what we call extra-intestinal symptoms.
Okay.
So a lot of our patients suffer with significant joint pain,
Right.
eye issues, skin issues, a whole host of things. So day-to-day living can, as I
Right.
said, you're dealing with significant upheaval.
Exactly. Rob, have you had to go through surgery?
I have not, no,
No?
thank God.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, knock on wood, it hasn't had to happen.
Yeah,
and
no,
hopefully it
I've
doesn't.
been in good shape.
Good.
So
Good,
hopefully
good,
I'm
good.
good for the long run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how long ago did you find out that you had Crohn's?
It was back in 2011.
Okay.
So it's been about 5 years.
All right.
And every 10 weeks, I go and get IV. I keep pushing it back further and further. I kind of want to take myself off of it, but the doctors are hesitant of that, so I keep pushing it back. So I've been good.
I was going to say, when they do an IV, what do they just take some blood?
No, I actually just sit in a chair like this,
Yeah.
essentially, and hold my arm out, and they put the IV in.
Okay.
And I can read books, go on my phone, watch TV. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm there for 2 hours.
Okay,
And once that's all said and done, they put a Band-Aid on it, and I go back to work. Or I've played basketball the same day I've got an IV. I mean, it doesn't
There you go.
tire me out or knock me out. So
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. Hey, from what I hear from doing a little bit of research, you guys have an event coming up.
We sure do, yeah.
Should we talk about it?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we host our annual Take Steps Walk. It's
Yep.
called the Connecticut Shoreline Take Steps Walk.
Yeah.
This year it is going to be Saturday, October 22nd at the Guilford Fairgrounds.
Okay.
So we are, in the process of putting our event schedule and activities together, and of course in the process of getting the word out to the community to recruit teams
Sure.
and volunteers. And Rob is on our planning committee, so
Nice.
he's been, working hard since about April, and
Nice.
yeah, we're plugging away.
How things going on the planning committee so far, Rob?
Good.
Yeah?
I was actually out earlier this morning handing out tear-off flyers, which is actually how I got involved in it. I was at a frozen yogurt business in Guilford and
Yep.
saw it on the wall and said, I have Crohn's, so I tore it off and ended up contacting Mary Kate, and this will be my 3rd walk, so it'd be 3 years.
Very nice.
And everything's gone smoothly so far.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, that you guys also have a kickoff coming up as well.
We
do. So this month we're hosting a kickoff, and the intention of that, it's really to bring the veteran teams back into the fold, and of course introduce any new teams to the veterans and to what our plans are for this year's event.
Okay.
So we're going to be hosting a bowling event down at the AMF Lanes in East Haven.
Yeah.
So, it's both the kickoff and the walk are very family friendly. So
Excellent.
we encourage folks to come out, bring the kids. We'll have refreshments and, share some team captain packets and get people to start registering their team members and start their fundraising.
And stay and bowl if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, and it's free to attend.
I was
So
going to say, if you want to hang out, bowl a couple frames, have a good time that afternoon.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Exactly. Now, I know you and I did a show about your event last year. How'd you guys do last year?
wonderfully, yeah. This will be our 4th annual event.
Okay.
So last year, in our 3rd year, we had just about 300 participants and
All right.
raised just about $48,000.
Excellent.
So we've seen very steady growth, in our first few years. First year we raised about 19,000, next year about 38, last year 48. So our goal this year is 58,000. We're sticking with the 8s.
All right.
And the $10,000 increments, so we're excited.
And we talked about this a little bit earlier in the segment. It is not where it was last year.
Correct.
The event.
Correct.
Why?
So this year the walk is at the Guilford Fairgrounds.
Okay.
We had in the previous 3 years we had been at Hammonasset State Park in Madison,
Okay.
But due to a construction project, they're actually building a linear trail.
Yep.
So we and a bunch of other nonprofits have found ourselves moving locations for this year. So we are thrilled to be at the Guilford Fairgrounds. Yeah, I think the venue is going to be great for our participants. And we're excited to work with them and engage some more folks in the community of Guilford.
Nice, very nice. And hopefully you guys will be back in at Hammonasset maybe in a couple of years after the project is complete.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes and keep our options open. So
now at the kickoff in August, I believe, when people show up, what can they expect? Do they have to bring paperwork or?
Sure. So actually, if folks want to go online to our website, and that is www.cctakesteps.org.
Okay.
From there, they can get to the Shoreline event, and right on the homepage of our Shoreline event is the kickoff information. So they can RSVP for the kickoff online, they can register for the walk online. No need to bring any paperwork to the kickoff, which is Sunday, August 14th.
I was going to say, is it too late to RSVP to the kickoff or?
Not at all.
No?
No.
Okay.
And it's at 2 p.m. So if people wanted to show up and bowl and join a good cause, everyone's welcome.
I was going to say, it starts at 2, ends at like 5, 6,
Yep.
2 to 5, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a couple hours.
Yeah.
Come hang out.
Yeah.
Go bowling.
Yep.
Have a good
time.
Have a good time. So, Rob, what else do you see yourself doing with the Crohns and Colitis Foundation to get the word spread out on the organization?
Mostly Mary Kate has been doing a lot for spreading the word as far as social media goes. I know we have a Facebook page, so if people see this and they want to go on and like the page, that would be great.
Excellent.
I actually held a fundraiser, a paint night just yesterday. And raised money that way and kind of spread the word, got some new team members, so that was fantastic as well.
Excellent. Well, you know what? We're about to go into a break, so we'll be right back.
Every day, the people in our community rally in support of United Way as we strive together to make a big impact to change lives in Middlesex County. From our main streets to our institutions, from our neighborhoods to our town halls and our classrooms, we're working with our partners to create a stronger community. It's an inspiring effort, and we invite you to join us. Volunteer, donate, live united.
Looking for Connecticut's best ride? You'll find it at the Closer to Free Ride. On September 10th, ride an inspiring 10, 25, 62.5, or 100 miles. Every dollar you raise supports research and care at Smilow Cancer Hospital at Yale New Haven. This is your ride. Register today at rideclosertofree.org and help bring our world closer to free.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Robin and Mary Kate from Crohns and Colitis. And from what I understand, Mary Kate, we're going to go in and watch a short video.
Definitely. So this video depicts both a patient story and the Take Steps walk.
All right.
So folks can get a visual of what they'll experience at our walk.
And we'll talk about it in more detail after we come back.
Sounds great.
Chris, would you mind rolling the video?
I was at a wedding and I had an accident and there was a little bit of blood in it. And so my mom and dad thought it was strawberries because I ate a lot of strawberries. We went home after the wedding and then it just kept getting worse and worse. And they said it was ulcerative colitis and we were like, wait, what? And so he's like, okay, let's try surgery. I was in the hospital for 5 days.
It's crazy for us because we've never heard of ulcerative colitis ever.
But even Googling it, like, you read about it, you still don't understand it. Like, I still was like, okay, so it does this and that. But her first doctor was really good, like, oh, you should check out the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Take Steps is amazing, and it's great because it brings so many families together that wouldn't usually come together, and we've got a lot of great events, not only the music and the food, but it's more about the camaraderie and meeting people so that you know that you're not alone in this walk.
I guess I would say it's kind of like a party. We're all getting together and we're making noise to say we're out here, we're raising money, we have this disease, but we're not going to let it stop us, and we want a cure. And if you have this disease, come on out and party with us.
We met a lot of other people in the community that I hadn't met previously. So we met bankers, accountants, attorneys, everyday people who became patients of our practice. And we didn't do it to promote our business, but by just being involved in the community, there's no question that it helped promote our company.
So I took steps because I know if we do this, we can help the cause and cure Crohn's and colitis.
I take steps for my brother.
I take steps because we need a cure.
By participating in Take Steps, it gives us a sense that we are making a difference in the world, that we are adding our voices to hundreds of others and showing our compassion for thousands of others, and hopefully making a difference for even many more.
I take steps for those who can't take steps for themselves.
Because it's fun and you're raising money for CCFA to find a cure, and if they do, then all the people that have Crohn's or colitis can get a cure.
And welcome back from watching the video. Mary Kate, what did we, for our viewers and listeners, what did we just see?
Sure. So, this video depicts one of our younger patients.
Okay.
And I should mention that inflammatory bowel disease can affect people of any age.
All right.
But we have actually found in recent years that the fastest growing population is under the age of 18. So we are seeing more and more pediatric patients. Here in Connecticut, we've got about 900 pediatric patients and about 18,000 patients overall.
Wow.
And then the other portion of the video depicts some of the team activities you'll see at our Take Steps walk.
Right.
It is very much a team-based event, so we encourage families and churches and schools and local businesses to put together small groups to come and support the people in their lives that are dealing with these diseases.
Exactly. And Rob, how many people are affected with Crohn's every year?
I don't have that.
You don't have.
I mean, I know in Connecticut.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Let's go about in Connecticut.
Yeah. Well, there's 18,000 in Connecticut, and then it's about 1 in every 200 people nationally are affected.
All right.
So when I was in Yale, there were actually some doctors who came up to me and said, I know somebody who has it, or I have Crohn's. I mean, it's a lot more common than people think it is.
Right.
Chances are there's probably somebody close to you in your life that does have Crohn's or colitis. So, hopefully this helps and strives to help those people.
Exactly. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about yet, but we can talk about it now. Where's the money go?
Sure.
Obviously, we raise money, but after everything's done, who gets it?
Absolutely, yeah. So, we as the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America, of course, very proud of what we do out in the community to raise funds, and could not do any of what we do without volunteers. Right. So, our mission is to find cures for these diseases, but also improve the quality of life of patients until such time as we have those cures.
Okay.
So there's really two major focal points in terms of where the money goes. The first of which is research.
Right.
Second of which is patient education and services. So on the patient services side, we do have local support groups. We actually have 3 groups here in the state of Connecticut, and that information is available on our website, www.ccfa.org. We also we host 12 camps, summer camps for kids around the country. So we've got about 160 kids from New England and New York going to camp at the end of August.
Very nice.
So yeah, it's a traditional summer camp with medical support. So they get to do all the typical arts and crafts and water activities and sports, but they get to obviously continue their medical treatment and have support while they're away from home.
Okay.
We also do educational seminars, both in person here in Connecticut, and then we also host online webinars on a variety of topics. So patients can kind of tap into topics that are of interest to them, whether they're a patient or a caregiver or a GI professional. All of those services are available. We also have our IBD Help Center. So it's a 1-800 number. It's 1-888-MY-GUT-PAIN. People can call Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and talk to specialists. So if someone's newly diagnosed, it's a great resource. If someone's going through a transition in terms of their medical treatment, it's also a great resource. So definitely encourage folks to tap into that as needed. And that's, obviously the money we're raising is supporting all of these things.
Right.
On the research side, we have a variety of initiatives underway. We as a foundation fund our own initiatives, and we also fund external investigators. So researchers from around the country, from hospitals and universities, can apply for funding through the foundation.
I was going to say, let's talk a little bit more about some of the other funding you guys do.
Sure. So in terms of foundation initiatives, we do have a host of studies underway.
All right.
We have these diseases, I mentioned, they're autoimmune. For about 15% of our patients, there is also a genetic component.
Okay.
So there's kind of a family lineage of these diagnoses.
Okay.
So we do have a research component on that genetic factor.
Excellent.
We also know that these diseases, within your gut, there are, billions and billions of bacteria, some of which are good, some of which are bad. So we know for patients, there's an imbalance.
Right.
Too little of the good, too much of the bad, and that is a factor in the inflammation and these diseases manifesting themselves. So we also have a research initiative focused on the microbiome, which is your gut bacteria.
Right.
We talked a little bit in the first segment about diet.
Yes.
We are actually funding a new study starting in 2017 comparing the specific carbohydrate diet to a Mediterranean diet. So this is really the first initiative we have to look specifically at diets.
Okay.
We know diet does not cause these diseases, but it does play a very central role in the day-to-day lives of our patients.
Okay.
So the more we can find out and figure out, as Rob mentioned, what foods to avoid and what foods to rely on, it's going to be crucial information. So we're really excited about that.
And
yes,
if I can just piggyback on that.
Go for it.
I think one of the things that really affected me was stress levels.
Right.
And I know that when it's not just with Crohn's or colitis, with a lot of different diseases, stress level can make everything way worse.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have community groups. I know I go to the Yale in Guilford, and they have a community group there. So people who are affected with this, feel free to join those groups. I mean, you're not alone. You
Right.
can definitely find other people and share your stories and share what has helped people and what hasn't,
Okay.
and hopefully it can affect your life.
Right. Now, Mary Kate, you mentioned about Mediterranean diets. What is a Mediterranean diet?
So I do not have the specifics in terms of
All right.
Mediterranean diet in general is lean meats,
Okay.
olive oil instead of butter and cream.
All right.
So, you know, it's a generally
Gotcha.
accepted healthy diet.
Okay.
The specific carbohydrate that it's going to be compared to, Mediterranean in general is going to be easier for folks to follow.
All right.
Specific carbohydrate diet is much more restrictive. So, you know, it's interesting, this study that we're going to start funding next year, patients who are enrolled will actually will get food deliveries for the first 6 weeks of the study. And then they'll have the opportunity to opt in at their own cost if they want to. But
Right.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
It's a good idea.
So.
I was going to say, Rob, so on the Mediterranean diet, no chocolate, no brownies.
Probably. I mean, even if it's on the diet, I can't have it anyways. So,
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was
the Rob diet.
Yeah, right.
Take it a step further.
That's okay as long as you guys are, as long as you're doing well, Rob. That's all that matters.
Yes.
That's all that matters. And we're almost about to say goodnight tonight. So before we do, I just want to thank you guys for coming down, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate you having us.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Not a problem. On behalf of Rob and Mary Kate, I'm Pete. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next week.